Alright, everybody, welcome to the final episode of this little. What is it?
Ballot banter like
Yeah,
thing.
where we will be going over the 32 matchups that we included in our little fan tournament. We've got myself and Gilded along with Sanchez here, but Sanchez was having mic issues, so that is why you are seeing the group chat, because Sanchez will be typing for the entirety of the video.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we tried to fix it in 7 different ways. None of them worked, so yeah. And given how Sanchez created one of the matchups here, I really wanted to make sure he was here for it, even in just text.
In spirit.
Was technically, yeah. Right. Uh, let's go with the first one in our little collection here. The Thing versus the Imposter.
All right. So the thing about this matchup, it's kind of a similar bolt vote to Fall Guys versus Among Us,
Yeah, but
except it's more the origin of Among Us.
yeah,
You
I
could
think
say that
this,
the thing was the sussy imposter first.
yeah, it only
The sussy
exists
bot guy.
because the imposter is pretty much directly inspired, and Among Us overall is inspired by the Thing, because the Thing is just an amazing horror movie. The matchup, though, it's sort of
It's
because
interesting, but it's also a stomp.
yeah, and I also don't. I like the idea as a crossover, but as a
Yeah.
versus matchup, I saw criticism the other day that was it devalues the Thing into basically just being the inspiration for the imposter, which is it means it ignores a lot of things that made that movie so great. In the whole, you don't know who the Thing is. It changes from time to time, and even at the end of the movie, it's almost impossible to figure out if. I mean, the main guy, you know, he's not. But the black guy, which I think is Keith David, I could be incredibly wrong there. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. But
I thought the question was if either of them were infected. Like,
yeah, we're pretty most people are pretty confident that what's the main character's name?
hell if I know. I haven't watched that movie in years.
What the main character, the guy who looks kind of like what? Uh, I don't even know a name of an actor he looks like. Anyway,
Hold on.
the main guy. I think most people are agreed that he's human. It's just the other guy that people are very unsure as to whether he's human or infected.
I'm going to be looking at the IMDb page to see who these actors are. Actually, no, I'm just going to look on
Yeah.
what Google
You'll
says.
note that some
There's
of
Kurt Russell,
Sanchez's. Oh, Kurt Russell. That was a name that went into my head. I thought it was him.
uh, TK Carter, Keith David.
I, I knew it was Keith David. That dude is an amazing actor. I love him in pretty much everything he's been in. Also, you'll notice that Sanchez's text is a bit cut off. That's purely so I can also fit the recording of the tier list in.
Isn't
Um,
there a way to increase Discord font sizes or something?
uh, Well, if I increased it, it would cut off more.
True.
Sanchez, is there any way you could edit your thing to go to a new line from the word like? So just do like a line break.
Oh, I think I found out who the
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it, Sanchez. Thank you.
I,
Now everyone can see.
I think I think I might have found the guy who played the main the main character. I don't know though. I'm gonna double check.
When you said Kurt Russell, I feel like it's him.
I, I mean, the other guy I'm thinking of is Joel Edgerton.
It's not a name I've heard before. It might be. But Kurt Russell is. It feels like it's him because he's got the hair. From as far as I'm aware. Anyway, while
He was the helicopter pilot. He was the helicopter pilot.
who was?
Oh wait, no. This is for the 2011 prequel. Shit.
All right.
Anyways,
It's not entirely important. We'll look it up later. As for the matchup's quality, I think what I'm feeling is here. C. Because
yeah, I was about to say it's
visually,
not
it's
above
interesting,
a B, but
but
I wouldn't say
it's
it's B itself.
yeah, it's not. It's not even that it's a bad idea as an idea, but it just isn't a good versus matchup. That too,
Yeah,
the tonal difference is a bit of a thing that stops a lot of people from wanting it.
I mean, it's not really a fight if the imposter can just laser eye the thing.
Yeah, and if the thing touches the imposter once, it's probably game over. Game over, man. I don't even know what movie that's from. I just know it's a bit.
Like it's
Um,
game over, man.
it sounds like something Shaggy would say.
Yeah,
Right, so we've got that in C tier. Sanchez, you agree? C tier? Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's D, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's B.
Yeah, I feel like as far as these tiers go, we can say that anything in D is just an absolutely
F,
not.
basically.
B is basically a meh. And then everything up here in S is peak. And then A and C are in the middle of those.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll put alts there because it just fits.
yeah, yeah. All right, ready to move on to this one?
But not bad, but not good. Alright.
Yeah.
Skull versus the Knight. From Hollow Knight. It's Skull from the Beheaded. Or Skull Beheaded. Everything I've seen about this matchup, it seems like a damn good alt, but with Knight versus Ori existing, I don't think it's the best for the Knight.
Oh my god, it just keeps going. Okay, there's the end. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's nice. Yeah,
the
basically
connection
you basically
list
just said what I
really
would say.
helps put it into the alt tier, but outside of that, it just it's it's going up against Knight versus Ori, and that matchup's just
Yeah.
peak. So good.
I would argue A tier.
Yeah, because I think if you were gonna do any other matchup for the night, Skull is
It would be this one.
Skull is just the choice from everything I've seen. You know?
Yeah.
Sanchez, what do you think? Yeah. Alright. So we'll move that to alts. And then we will move on to a matchup that I pushed for the tournament. Saren Arterius from Mass Effect versus James Ironwood from Ruby.
It's only here because we consider Ruby indie.
Yeah, Ruby, like Minecraft, is one of those technically indie, but backed by a company that became big. It's not, Rooster Teeth isn't Microsoft level big, but they're big. I mean, being owned and then eventually broken up by Warner Bros., which I know we're all still incredibly pissed about.
Fuck Warner Bros.
And fuck David Zaslav.
Did you see Ben Singer's tweet today?
Yeah, I saw you post it in the server.
Oh, I did post that?
Yeah, you did. You posted the link to it. It's the picture of the cats, and he's like talking about how he wishes there was news. Anyway, Saren versus Ironwood. There's a few other Ironwood matchups I've seen, and I don't like any of them more than this. I think this is Ironwood's best. Because the only other one that I think people have any real interest in is Handsome Jack, and I get that one, but at the same time, I don't think it works as well as a lot of people want it to, because at the end of the day, yes, both are villains that think they're doing the right thing, but Jack becomes insane, and not in a way that Ironwood is. Ironwood is more... If you've seen Saren in Mass Effect, I think most people would agree that Saren's a lot closer to the kind of attitude that Ironwood has than Jack will ever be. And both of them are military leaders that went on the whole ends justify the means, I'm saving you all by killing people type thing. So what do you guys think?
I think it's decent.
I've also
I don't
written
know if I'd
5
say the
for it.
best of the tournament, but I think it's decent.
I'd like to consider putting it in the A tier. I think it is Ironwood's
Yeah, that's
best,
what I'm
but I
thinking.
understand the hesitation to call it top tier.
Yeah, I feel like if there was more connections, it would be top tier. But like, I'm thinking like low A,
I can respect that.
like maybe middle or low A, middle or low.
Sanchez, do you agree with that? Putting it in the A tier? We may end up throwing another tier in between alts and meh for matchups that are good, but just could be better.
You mean like for this next one?
Yeah, let me add the tier. Well, yeah, this tier is now B tier, and then this tier is C tier, and then we got D, and then the bottom of the barrel.
F.
Yeah. So, Big Band versus Iron Tiger is next.
And just looking at these connections, yeah, that's a B.
Yeah, it's about on par with Saren versus Ironwood, I'd agree.
I mean, one of the connections is four words long. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but like
I'd kind of put it
when
below.
there's only 5 connections,
I mean, they're good, and it's a solid list, just
yeah,
like
they're
Saren
good.
Ironwood. It's just when a matchup works and is good, I think at that point we just look at vibe and connections. And the better those two things are, the higher it gets. Skull versus the Knight, lots of connections, great vibe, just doesn't outdo the absolute peak that Knight versus Ori is.
Do we also want to include legacy in this? Like,
I think that is an aspect of making a matchup good, but it definitely doesn't have as much weight as vibe connections and just overall theme.
yeah, agreed.
It's worth considering, but yeah. I mean, look at Cole versus Alex from the recent season of Death Battle. The theme and just that matchup. I think the biggest part of it is its legacy. But that doesn't mean the rest of the
Yeah,
matchup, the rest of the stuff, the connections, the vibe, the dynamic, everything. It just all works, and it's just that the legacy is the biggest part of it.
you kind of just described it all there.
Sanchez, can you not see the? I should be streaming the connections on the thing. Can you not see it? All right, read those over and then see if you agree with our putting it in B tier, because it's probably a B tier matchup from everything I'm seeing.
It's B tier, yeah.
That's just saying it's good and would likely result in amazing. It would likely result in a really good episode. But these top 3 tiers are pretty much all going to be matchups that are good or great, ranked by kind of how deep the connections go and how the vibe feels. And then the bottom 3 are going to be indifferent, and then just kind of bad, but this one's kind of bad, but not terrible. And then this one's just, why
Bad.
does it exist? And will probably be the only tier we don't use.
Hold on. I got to step out for a second.
All right, I'll cut this out in the recording.
Hey, sorry, I'm back.
All right, I'll try and make sure to remember to cut that out in the recording. All right.
I think it's short enough that you can get away with leaving it in.
Probably. Anyway, next we've got Venoct.
Another suggestion from one of the former
Yes,
CIC members.
Venoct from Yokai Watch versus Sakuya Izuyoi from Toho. A note here is that we should have had more Toho matchups, which we've mentioned over the episodes, but yeah. Toho just, I think I think if there's any indie
Uh,
series out there, the ones that really kind of deserve an episode at this point, Undertale, Minecraft, Toho are probably the three I'd pick.
I'm just gonna say this straight
And
off the
then
bat.
Cave Story in
This
fourth
is S
place.
tier. This is S tier. Right off the bat.
Yeah, it does seem really good.
It's the best Sakio matchup, which in the sea of bad ones, it's hard to find the good ones.
And the hilarious one that is Hit versus Saga. But yeah, I'm more than willing to put this up at our first S tier. It's just really
Yes.
good.
The one I suggest, one of the two I suggested is
All right.
next.
So, what? One of the ones you suggested is next.
Wait. Oh wait, no, I didn't suggest this next. I didn't suggest this next. But this one is the Devil versus the Snatcher.
Yes. Which, from everything I've seen, is another S tier.
You want to know something funny? I just now thought about.
What?
They could probably they could probably get the official voice actor for Snatcher in this if they did it,
Cool.
because the Snatcher was voiced by, I think, Yogscast, I think, or someone else.
Oh, cool.
But I know they're a YouTuber.
Yeah. Something else that would be really cool is if they animated it in Cuphead style, or the style that they did for the Bendy versus Cuphead DBX, because that was amazing. Best DBX, one of the best DBXs they've ever had.
I would agree with you, but really the only thing that DBX really has going for it is the animation.
Yeah, the matchup isn't great, and we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Honestly, the fight itself isn't that special, but like the way it's animated,
Absolutely.
it's what made it the best.
Yeah. Hades, is that Disney Hades, Kid Icarus Hades, Hades? Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Another matchup I really like for the Cuphead Devil is Robot Devil from Futurama, and there was a episode from the FCC versus show for that, and that is how I learned about that matchup, and I think it's a really great fit, especially from how they portrayed the devil in the cartoon. I think that vibe.
Yeah, he's a little bit fruity.
Yeah, the Robot Devil it would vibe so well. It's really cool that the devil has three really good matchups that are all basically vying for his best, to the point where I don't know which one I'd want to see most. I think I am
For me, it's
leaning.
Snatcher.
Yeah, I think I'm personally leaning Robot Devil just because I'm a big Futurama fan. But
I like Futurama,
fully,
but I played a Hat in Time
yeah, I fully
a
understand
lot.
and respect the choice for any of the three.
Snatcher was. I think they would be able to match each other's energy really well
Yeah,
in terms
I
of
mean, all
in terms
three of
of
his
the
opponents
voice
can
work.
absolutely do that. Hey, they all fit so well that at the end, it's just a choice of personal preference. But
Yeah,
the matchup does go up here, without a doubt.
yeah, but imagine like Snatcher yells full, and then Devil has something to counter it with. I don't know.
Right. Moving on. Got our first of the two Homestuck matchups in here, I believe. No, not two. There's another one. At any rate, We got Ness versus
The
John.
first of two John Egbert matchups.
Yes. Which, out of all the characters in here, I'm surprised we ended up with two John matchups.
Are you really surprised?
I don't know a lot here. I think, Gilded, you probably know more about this than I do.
I don't know that much about Homestuck.
Right, I'm more thinking you know a fair bit about Ness.
And I know it seems alright.
Because
It's
Ness is...
definitely
I know that you like another Ness matchup in Ness versus Raz.
oh yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
one of the better ones. Let me check where I put this in that big matchup tier list I made a while ago with the server. Let me see if I can.
While the video
Yeah, this was like
is playing as well.
this was the fifth highest ranking.
Hmm.
I put it in A.
Yeah, I can see that.
I I I don't know where exactly in A, but just in A, because like
Because I
what
agree
the
with
connections
you.
don't tell you is
I agree with you that Ness versus Raz is the superior Ness matchup, and probably Ness is best. But this one seems really good.
yeah. The thing that the matchup doesn't tell you is that this is a massive stomp against next Ness.
I mean, it's not really going to matter much as to the quality of the matchup being Stomp, but I do agree that debatable matchups kind of have a leg up on Stomp matchups more often than not, as long as every other part's good.
Yeah.
I'd rather...
I mean, if we kind of had, I mean, if we judge the thing versus the imposter for that, I think we can judge this one for that.
Yeah. Alright, next, another one from me with a thumbnail by myself. Speaking of which, I'm gonna make sure to have all of the credits for the thumbnails up as we announce each matchup. So we've got Dust versus Gappy. Dust from Dust and Elysian Tale, and then Gappy from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. When we were creating the tournament, I threw this one in because Dust and Elysian Tale is... I don't know if I'd say underrated, but it's kind of a... It is definitely a really good game that a lot of people don't know about. And I think more people should. I finished it once years ago, and I haven't... I wanted to go back and play it again, but I kind of got sidetracked by other things. One of these days, I'm going to go through it again and relive just how much I enjoy it from start to finish. As for the matchup quality, I have since found
Can I be honest with you?
a much better idea for Dust, to the point where I think I'd shove this one down to either B tier or C tier.
I'm gonna be brutally honest with you here, Nuke. I
Yeah,
was thinking C or D.
yeah, I can understand that. Uh, Sanchez, what about you? Would you say B, C, D? Because you're kind of probably our deciding vote here. Hmm.
Hmm.
I think then it's either high C or low B. And probably in the interest of just being fair to us all, we'll put it here. That seem right?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. next, we've got Isaac from Binding of Isaac versus the Lamb from Cult of the Lamb. And I think this one seems really good, surprisingly.
I would. I don't know if I'd say it's the best Isaac matchup, but it's definitely an alt.
What would you say is Isaac's best then?
Omori.
Yeah, from the small amount of knowledge I have of both, yeah, I can see that. Sanchez,
We did.
A tier.
Remember, it was the first. It was the first one we had to revisit for Indie
It
Insights
was.
because we couldn't find the connections for it,
And then we
and then
found them.
Necro found them, and it was peak.
Yeah. Sanchez, A tier.
Also, I feel like this is warranted for my friend here that they love the Binding of Isaac.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a really good game.
hey Skelly, hey Skelly, hi. You're probably not watching this.
I mean, you can always link it to them when I post it.
Yeah, I probably will.
Right. Next we've got. Speaking of Legacy from earlier, we have a matchup that is very much a Legacy matchup. Steve versus the Terrarian.
This may sound like a dumb question, but where does Steve even scale?
Ooh, I don't know. There's the funny inventory as strength calculation, which is definitely funny.
The inventory gets even more ridiculous with some of the items that hold items.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the calc does it takes like whatever the heaviest item in Minecraft is, shoves a full inventory in shulker boxes, and then shoves a full inventory of those shulker boxes into Steve's inventory, and then calcs based off of the total weight. I think they use gold. I don't remember. Maybe it's
I think it is gold, yeah.
yeah.
But
Granted,
Sanchez says that there's star level feats in dungeons.
yeah, Minecraft Dungeons is probably where a lot of the usable feats are going to come from. Or story mode, because
Hey, we got watching that Minecraft
I'm more
movie.
than happy scaling Steve to story mode stuff. Because it kind of just makes sense. As for that gold weight carrying calc, I'd like to wager that Minecraft inventory doesn't work like that, because of how you can have one minecart taking up the same amount of space as a shulker box filled with stacks of gold, and apparently one minecart takes up one inventory slot. It's like, are you trying to tell me that a minecart will weigh as much as 27 stacks of gold blocks?
Yes.
Right. But yeah. So I'm wagering that Minecraft
It
inventory just works like
reminds me
carrying
of this
space.
one.
Anyway,
The, the,
as for
the,
the
the
matchup,
inventory thing.
yes, it works a lot off of the series quote unquote rivalry,
I mean,
but it
the games both
works.
reference each other.
I mean, the only other Minecraft matchups that really make sense are Lego ones. I'd rather this over anything of Minecraft versus Lego.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think the Terrarian wins from just some of the stuff you can do in Terraria, but I personally have no idea. If
It doesn't help that I
Steve
never really played
if
Terraria.
Steve scales higher than the Terrarian stats, he's got a good shot, but the Terrarian absolutely has got to take the hack's edge from everything I've seen.
Nah,
But
just fill Steve's inventory with totals of undying. He'll be
right
fine.
now, the question is S tier, A tier. It's one of them, and I'm willing to go S for this. But I don't know.
I was gonna say A tier.
Yeah, I am leaning that myself. That's not to say the matchup isn't great,
Oh no, it's not.
but
It's not.
the
I'm not
kind of
saying it's
character
not
Steve
great.
is doesn't. These are player characters. It's not leaning towards
I,
any real opportunity for character moments in the animation when you think about it. That's not to say it wouldn't be a really
that
great thing, but
but also for me personally, I think it would need more connections for it to be S, in my
yeah.
opinion.
Sanchez, what about you? Are you cool with going A tier for this? Yeah, alright. We'll move to A tier here. And then we'll move on to the only 2v2 matchup in the entire tournament. Uzi and N from Murder Drones, very good series. I've watched a few episodes, very good. Versus Toko and Kamaru, I think I'm saying that right, from Danganronpa. And
I have no say in this matchup.
I made a trailer of it once. I think I have a hard time saying S. I'm leaning
Yeah,
A to B.
yeah, I was about to say B because the fact is a single connection.
I tried
Well,
looking up
like,
connections and I couldn't find a proper connections list, no matter how hard I looked. This was all I
oh,
could
that
see.
sucks.
Yeah. If anybody watching this knows of a deeper list of connections, then by all means, let us know. Because I love the vibe of this idea and would love to see it as an animation of some kind.
Hey, 2v2 matchups go hard, man.
They really do. We need. You know that in the entirety of Death Battle's history, there's only been a single proper 2v2 matchup.
Yes.
Every other matchup that could be considered a 2v2 has always had some caveat with it. Mainly the stuff like Pokemon versus Digimon isn't really a 2v2 because it's more the creatures fighting rather than both combatants on either side.
I don't know. Tie through hands.
Yeah, but he did it once, and it's not really a proper 2v2 in the same way that Ratchet and Clank versus Jack and Daxter was. That's what I mean by 2v2. With combo
I'm just
attacks
thinking that
and all that sort of good stuff.
this side note, I'm just thinking about that. And I'm now realizing that Ash versus Yugi could be the reverse of that.
Yeah, because Ash is more inclined to throw hands than Yugi ever will be.
If Ash lays a hand on Yugi, Yugi's just obliterated.
True, he does just be that much stronger, depending on whether Yugi scales to all of the multiversal shenanigans going on in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Ash itself could
For,
use
for,
aura. I don't know if
for,
Yugi has
for
can do
something
anything
that
about that.
basically just is a card game, that series gets too fucking high. And Yugi scales to all of that shit. It's crazy. Ugh. Anyway, Uzinen versus Toko and Kamaru. How do you guys just
I say B.
A or B? Sanchez, you be the decider. A or B? Because I'm cool putting it on either, even though I am leaning A more than B. Alright, we'll have it be the low A then. Wow, I imagine ordering won't really matter too much here, but yeah. Moving on, we've got our second John matchup. John versus Frisk from Undertale.
Oh, this fucker's back.
After only a few matches.
It's only week 3.
Anyway, as far as another John matchup goes, it's probably a, I don't know, maybe it's about the same as Ness versus John.
I could. I don't know whether to place this above or below.
Because it's, you know, I'll put it here for now. But it just seems very similar quality wise. Though the only reason we put Ness versus John a tier lower was because Ness versus Raz exists and is just leagues better.
And it's actually a fight, unlike what Death Valve themselves think.
John versus Frisk, though, I mean,
What the fuck?
I don't know enough about Homestuck to say if this is S tier or A tier, but it's up there.
I know a weird fact about Homestuck that involves Toby Fox.
Okay, weird how?
Well, it ended up somehow ending up into a Nintendo game.
Wait, what?
Okay, so you can choose to keep this in the video or not. I'm not going to force you.
Alright.
But okay, so you know how Toby Fox worked on made one song for Pokemon Sword and Shield, right?
I'm aware. Oh god, I think I know what you're going with
Well,
this. There was some
but
adult thing, right? Some like 18 plus.
Homestuck Emperor.
Right, yeah, fuck. Yeah. God, I remember you. I remember that being brought up, and I was like, "What the fuck?" God damn. Right. Well, should we just leave it in A, or do we bring it up to S?
But leave it in A.
Sanchez, you cool with A?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Frisk matchups are one of the most difficult things ever. You know?
Is it because Undertale? Trying to figure out how Undertale combat works is just the hardest fucking thing on the planet.
Well, that, and also you gotta consider this is Frisk,
Yeah. So pacifist
whose
about it.
choices matter.
Hmm.
Pacifist route Frisk is full potential Frisk, but because they're a pacifist, they wouldn't fight.
Yeah.
But if you do genocide, you'd have a Frisk that would be willing to fight, but they wouldn't be at their full potential.
Hmm. Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it in A tier. If anyone disagrees with us, you can range at me. Personally, I will fight you on it. No, but these are just our opinions. If anyone disagrees, then you're more than welcome to. And if you want to provide your reasons, I'm more than willing to hear them. Just throw them in the comments. I try to read as many of them as I can. Anyway,
Move on to the next one, aka the winner.
yeah, I don't think we need to argue about this. It just goes straight up here.
It's S. It's S.
I
It's
mean, can
S.
you really disagree with that? It won the tournament. It's the SCP matchup that people want. The only other possible one being the one also in this tournament.
The crew of Death Valve liked it.
Yeah.
We kind of willed it into being a Death Valve cast.
The only issue with it as an idea is how the fuck do you make it?
Like, what do you mean? Like, I mean, I think the setup is pretty clear.
Okay, just to appease Sanchez here, it'll sit in the F tier until we're done talking, and then I'll just move it right up to S, just because this is kind of funny. But yeah, quality wise, it's one of the best. There's a reason it won. I mean, we thought there was a bit of a thing going on because for some reason, the weeks that this was up for voting, those weeks got the most amount of votes. So it's either somebody was cheating, or people like it so much that they turned out in spades for this for some reason.
You want to know what the reason was? Well, that we found out?
Wasn't it that it got shared somewhere?
Someone posted it on 4chan.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't...
Someone in the server admitted it.
Okay, that makes sense. 4chan loves to be funny with votes. I still remember the time that they made... I think it was Taylor Swift had a contest for somewhere, and she... like, you voted for which school she went to, and 4chan found out about it, and it was like, school for the deaf! And it was like, nope, she didn't go, but she did donate to them, which was, that was nice. The other one that comes to mind is the time that 4chan made Pitbull go to a Walmart in Alaska or something, and he actually went. But yeah, I'll put it back up here. We're pretty much done. Sanchez, it would be
should
funny,
we also talk about?
But
should we also talk about what?
Talk about what?
What we planned to do for the winner, and then what happened immediately the same day.
What was it exactly? Because I know what happened around the time is that they did a death battle cast for the matchup.
Well, they didn't do it. They announced it.
But
so
what were you trying to say?
What we were going to do is that me, you, and the rest of the TIC team, we plan to promote the hell out of the matchup.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Trailers, thumbnails.
Yeah. And then
maybe artwork and stuff. And then the same day that we announced the winner,
the cast got announced, and it was like, wow, that's better advertising than we'll ever be capable of. So it's like, kind of pointless to do it now.
Yeah, I mean, what better advertising can you get than getting the DC fans mad?
But I did make that thumbnail for it myself, so if anybody wants to make a trailer in the future, you are absolutely free to use that thumbnail, because I think it's a very good thumbnail. It was very hard to make it because Doomsday renders are a bitch, not to mention finding one that would match with a 682 render is an even harder bitch, because SCP is bare bones in terms of what media exists. But I think I did a very good job on it.
You did a very good job.
Sanchez, you don't have to apologize to me. It'll probably be the people who can't even find a proper render. Doom. See, the thing is, it's not even just 682 that has the problem. Like I said, Doomsday, for all that he is one of the biggest villains in DC, has like next to no good renders for this shit. There's the Injustice ones, there's that one, and then a few more, and that's it. You'd think the dude would have more renders for how popular this matchup is, but no. Anyway.
Sanchez saying it was fated to be bad.
Anyway, S-tier matchup. I'd love to see it happen. If anybody can figure out a way to make it, to animate the fucking thing and do it, it'll be worth it. You will get so many numbers on your video. Amazing. You'll get so many views.
You say that, but I actually saw like a small animation of it yesterday on Twitter.
Oh, cool. Right.
Also, I just say this. Put it at the absolute top of S tier because it won.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that or make its own tier.
I might make its own tier, but right now I want to leave it here just because everything fits. Moving on, we've got what I consider to be another S tier matchup because
It
we've
almost
got,
beat.
yes, it almost beat it. We've got the Second Coming from the Animation Versus series. Very good. A new Animation Versus video actually came out today. Animation versus Geometry. If by some chance you haven't seen it by the time this video comes out, go watch it. Very good. And we've got him versus Henry from the Henry Stickmin series.
Henry! Woo!
Yeah, out of the other thing with these two is the stick figure battle royale, and I don't.
Henry has Problem Sleuth.
I think that one's pretty good, but I also think that the stick figure battle royale, I think it's kind of pointless because you've got Red and Fancy Pants in there. Fancy Pants is just the Volnut of that battle royale. He does nothing for it. Sorry for any Fancy Pants fans out there. He's an awesome character. The games are really fun. I've played him a fair bit, but he just doesn't stack up to the other three in that battle royale. And I think most people are agreed that the battle royale just comes down to Henry versus Second Coming anyway.
I remember back in the day, I used to hear it came down to Henry versus Red.
I would highly disagree, but that might just be because Second Coming just hadn't gone into his crazier shit by that point.
And yeah, I think by that point too, I don't even think the Henry Stickmin collection was out at that point.
Yeah, with the final, uh, the fifth game in the series.
I'm just gonna say it. We need to make the Henry Stickmin game popular again. Because
God, it's so
remember
good.
like
Both of these
yeah,
two
remember
are
like early.
just some of the best that indie internet creations have to offer. Just
And
amazing.
and you know what? I'm gonna say it. If Smash Bros was ever gonna have a Flash representation,
These two
it
have
should
to
be
be in
Henry
it.
Stickmin.
Both of these two should be in it.
I'd argue if they were gonna have a Flash game character as a roster character, have
Yeah,
it be Henry.
Henry's a really good choice. Uh,
He has so much moveset potential. Some straight from Smash Bros.
yeah. So this one absolutely goes up here into S tier. To the point where I'm putting it here.
Uh, future nuke. Insert GIF of the funny distraction dance.
I'll probably just post it a few times over the video. I think maybe I don't know. You might
Or,
have to
or
find me a
Henry
GIF
getting
for
shot in
it.
the balls.
You might have to find me a GIF for it.
Either the distraction dance or Henry getting shot in the balls.
Yeah. Right. Moving on. We've got the a matchup that we had to switch out fairly close to the tournament starting so close to that some I think maybe one or two of the videos we made for it. Rather than this, there's the matchup that we had originally, which was boyfriend versus what was it?
Verbal Ace.
Verbalace. Because uh it was Daramaya's suggestion,
Fuck him.
and after a little bit we, or at the very least I thought that while the joke was hilarious,
At the time.
it just wasn't going to age well. Meanwhile, Parappa is an absolutely amazing character that I really would love to see return in some form.
Well, here's the thing: people seem to disagree with you because this only got 2 votes.
Right, but it was kind of up against some stiff competition.
Yeah,
Because this was week 4 and up against uh Hen-
Doomsday versus the 682.
yeah, and Henry versus Second Coming, right? They were both in week 4. So it was a tough week for this one to be in. Quality
Even then,
wise,
I don't think
I don't know if I'd
this.
put this
this
matchup as S tier because it works and it's cool, but like,
how would you do it?
yeah, I mean, I don't think it works as a proper fight in any regard. I think you have to run it as a rap battle. I think it's the only way it makes sense, or as some sort of mashup
Yeah, but
between
like,
the two
how would you?
styles.
If it's a rap battle, yeah, but how would you determine a winner from that?
I don't know. I don't know how you'd figure out who's better at stuff. Someone smarter than us can probably figure it out, but I will just throw it in A tier for the time being.
Sanchez, you say that, but one of the recent, but like the figurine trailer shows boyfriend fighting.
Oh, well, if they both can actually fight, then maybe there's something there.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Parappa is the one that got training, and BF just seems to be acting on basic instincts.
Makes sense.
I
Anyway,
mean, he got snuck up on, so we don't really see it.
Parappa winning would
I mean,
be
I could.
awesome. I just have to say. Uh, moving on
Well,
then,
I
since we
remember
have it up
this.
in A tier.
Wait. Oh, we put it in H here. Okay.
Did you want to disagree or?
No, 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 no.
All
That's
right.
fine. Okay, I'm
Next,
gonna be completely honest. When I saw the thumbnail, my first thought was instantly lesbians.
I
I
mean,
don't know why.
yeah, I can kind of see why you think that. We've got, and for everybody unaware, it is Parasol versus Winter because you can see it right here. Which I like it. I like it a lot. Uh,
Yeah, it seems all right.
Connections aren't great. Well, no, they're good, solid, and definitely above this tier. So I'm tentatively feeling this tier. But peak compared to the other things we have up here, no, no, I would not say peak. Yeah, it's definitely A or B
Eh.
tier, somewhere in that range. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling A tier because I really like the idea. Gilded, how are you feeling? A tier, B tier? Because if the two of you agree on B tier, I'll move it down a little
Uh,
bit.
yeah, think about A or B.
Uh, I'll put it in B. Since we kind of seem to be Sanchez is solidly there, and the two of us seem to be kind of dipping between them. But yeah, it is definitely though the matchup for Winter I'd want to see the most. The other one I've seen is Winter versus Derby, which no, that one's bad.
Wait, Dobby?
Yeah, from My Hero Academia.
Oh,
What did you think I said?
I thought you meant the fucking elf from Harry Potter.
Oh, Derby! Oh my god! Oh,
Dobby
oh,
about to run your shit.
oh man. Oh, that's hilarious.
Dobby's gonna fuck you up.
Uh, okay, so that's the halfway point. Uh, you know, as a little bit of a bonus fun thing, I made a matchup recently. It's not an indie matchup, but it is a hilarious matchup. Would the two of you like to hear it?
Yes.
Sanchez, you want to hear it?
We need to make a thumbnail for Dobby versus Winter.
That would be. If somebody wants to do that, that would be hilarious.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll throw it up in the video, just on screen.
But yeah, say your thing.
Yeah, let me just pause the recording while you get it. All right, here it is. The reason
A
this
zinger.
the reason this exists, and the reason I made it, is because Necryo was running a matchup creation tournament on Reddit, which is probably going on right about now. I don't know when the deadline for this is. I have to make a thumbnail for this at some point. Probably a pretty easy thing, pretty quick and easy thing. But it was you pick a series and lock that in as one of your choices, and then Necryo ran a wheel of suggestions from people, and the first one I got was I can't remember, whatever it was. I had no clue, so I asked for a reroll, and I got this, and I thought it was so funny that I just ran with it, and actually
That
came
was an
up
awful gift.
with an idea for Sheldon Cooper. Oh yeah, no. Sheldon just turns to Morden and just goes, Bazinga, and Morden just crumples to the ground.
Live recreation of the fight.
Just, oh man, yeah. But yeah, what do you think of? Do you think those connections work? Do you think they're funny? Do you think they make sense?
Yes. And you'll know what would be even funnier?
What?
It's a GIF in the video with no context.
Well, don't worry. The recording's back on, so people can see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I unpaused it like just before I posted the connections there, just as a little bit of a just a little break in the middle. Well, I say middle. We've been going for over an hour at this point,
Yeah.
so it'll take us another hour to get through all of the rest. Unless we want to just go through this a bit quicker, stopping where we
Yeah,
get
let's make this a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
We'll probably
the
discuss the
next one
peak
already.
matchups a little bit more, but yeah. Anyway, Bendy versus Springtrap is next, and I don't think it's peak, but it does seem pretty good.
I'd argue it's. Look, I get it. I know that. I know that the indie games or the indie game or the horror matchup thread are gonna probably maul me for this. I think it's an alt.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. The Springtrap matchups
Like
that
I've.
I know that between the two of us, there are 4 Springtrap matchups that we think are his best. Dio, Freddy Krueger, Chucky, and Goji, the man behind the suit or in the suit. I don't know.
The man in the suit.
Yeah, those are the 4
The
that
man behind the suit is a unique title.
I think we both agree those are his 4 best. Sanchez, what do you think? Dio, Brando from JoJo's, Freddy Krueger, Chucky from and Goji from Man in the Suit thing. Those are the 4 that Gilden, I think, are the best. But yeah, I think absolutely A tier, and we can move on. Because visually, it's great. Yeah. And I don't think we talked about it in our Springtrap tier list. And for everyone that's wondering, this is why, because it's in this one. But yeah, it is good. I'm not going to deny it. I just don't think it's his best.
Oh yeah, it is good. It's not the best.
Yeah. All right. And now next, we have the most surprising matchup of the tournament because it made it past round one when none of us thought it would. Billy.
It beat Springtrap versus Bendy.
Yeah, which really, like, but it's Billy Butcher versus Blitzo somehow managing to win. It's just, I'm so shocked it won, especially given that it was up against a Springtrap matchup which is really good, and Undyne versus Yunnan, which is considered one of the better Undertale matchups. I honestly don't know who wins, but
I don't care who wins
Blitzo because everybody in the boys scales below Homelander, who is just an absolute joke when you think about it. But then I don't know how the boys scaling.
I don't know. Does Billy get a baby?
I don't know where I want to put it. It's definitely up in one of these two tiers. Gilded, what do you think?
A.
Yeah, all right, we'll put it in A. And then we'll move quickly on. A lot of good connections, though. All right, anyway, we'll move quickly on to Spade Slick from Homestuck, the universe, or whatever, versus Hank from Madness Combat. I don't know Homestuck.
All right, let's see.
But I know Hank. I think Hank's the matchup for Hank I like the most, and is my personal favorite, is Hank going up against Doomslayer. I think that vibes really well, and anyone who disagrees with me can go themselves. No, but where do we feel on Spades versus Hank? Because it honestly seems pretty good.
I would say either A or high B.
Yeah, I'll throw it in A then. Sanchez, any disagreement on Spades versus Hank in A? Yeah, alright. And then we'll move on to Undyne versus Yunnan, which it's Undyne's best.
Yeah, after I watched a little bit of Amphibia, like specifically the one episode with you now, yeah, this is definitely one of the two best options for Undyne.
Though,
I do know of another one,
if I have to say
but
something, Yunnan as a character kind of feels a lot like a merging of Undyne and Papyrus.
yeah, I can
In the
see
sense
that.
that every time Yunnan introduces herself, she's like, I am Yunnan, Scourge of the... And it's like, that's very
Yeah, it goes with the whole spiel.
But yeah, no, I think this is just amazing.
If
I
I
don't think
should I say
Yunnan has a lot of options. This is the only one I've seen. I know Undyne has quite a few.
there was one option I thought was the best for Undyne for the longest time until I saw Yunnan,
And what's
and
that?
now it's just a back and forth. I think it's Judgment from Helltaker.
Okay, I can see that. It looks pretty good. That one does seem pretty good. But I just don't think it's. I think this is just your best.
Oh, yeah,
See,
yeah.
but the interesting thing about this matchup is that if you do Asgore versus Andreas, this one kind of just happens in the background.
Oh, I never really thought about that.
And it's
Did we do lesser Asgore versus Andreas?
I don't want to say it's lesser. I think it's just a scenario where Asgore and Andreas are going up against each other would pretty much mean that a confrontation happens between these two. I think this is just an additional aspect to Asgore versus Andreas, which in and of itself
Wait,
is a peak idea. I would like to make a
wait.
case. Go on.
This would this would basically be the same thing as having Martian Manhunter versus Silver Surfer in the same season as Galactus versus Unicron.
Well, not exactly, but I see where you're going with it.
Having Undyne versus Union happen first, as basically saying that Asgore versus Andreas is gonna happen.
Yeah. And then in that animation for Asgore Andreas, you see this happening in the background. That would be amazing. Anyway, I'd like to make a case for Peak.
Mhm.
It's probably on the low end of Peak, but I just think it works perfectly.
Yeah.
Alright, so alright then. From a Peak matchup to a matchup which
Mid as hell.
I get it, but my god, does it it's so mid. It just
Mid as hell.
it's not good.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. Midder than Cuphead versus Bendy.
Yeah, it's probably the most mid matchup on here, and the only reason Thing versus Imposter is lower is because that one is actively it takes one of the characters and actively ignores major aspects of them. Whereas Shovel Knight versus Shantae, at the very least, works well with their characters. It just is a meh idea. Yeah, a lot of people will probably disagree with us, but it just is. I mean, hell, Shovel Knight versus Scrooge McDuck is a better matchup than this. Maybe it's a hot take, but it is.
I've been playing Shovel Knight recently, and dude is fucking busted.
Yeah.
That's not even mentioning the Kratos scaling,
Yeah.
which is canon. Which is canon.
Yeah, it's canon, but it's like, it's kind of a bit of an outlier given everything else Shovel Knight does.
I heard there are some universal arguments, but like, I think the bare minimum you could put Shovel Knight at is enough to take out Shantae.
Yeah.
He gets multi-continental.
Anyway, well, we've gone from peak to meh, and now we're going right back to peak with Sans versus the Judge, which I'm just putting up there. I don't think there's any debate. It's just, I think everybody agrees. It's just Sans is best, probably.
I feel like if we didn't put it in peak, we'd be judged by everyone out there with
I
common
think out of
sense.
every matchup here, this is the one that people would try to lynch us for if we didn't put it up here.
You
Doomsday
missed my
versus
pun.
682, putting it one tier lower, can at least be explainable by the fact of SCP matchups are weird to debate, talk about, or just consider in any actual form. But Sans versus the Judge
Okay.
kind of just there's no way to disagree with it. It's just this good.
Yeah. Also, cut this out of the video when you edit it. But you missed my pun there.
Oh, what was it?
If we put it in anywhere but peak, we'd be judged by anyone with common sense.
Oh, I probably won't cut that out because you were just clarifying the pun, but that's a good one.
No, cut it out so only people who noticed it can
Okay,
say they
alright.
noticed it.
Alright, I'll cut it here then. All right. Moving on to yet another peak matchup: Ori versus the Knight.
Just put it in there. Just put it in there.
Yeah, it's another one, less so than Sans and Judge, but it's another one that's just like it's up there. But the only reason it's less so is because stuff like Skull versus the Knight exists. There are other ideas that you can understand people liking more than this. But this is still
Yeah.
probably overall the best for both. And if Death, but honestly, looking at all of these matchups, if we were to pick one to happen in season 11, it can't be Sans versus the Judge. It was in the tournament, but it should. If that's the more that should absolutely happen in season 12. If slash when
Yeah,
Death
they
Battle
want.
continues, but I think Arya versus the Knight is definitely a really good option for them to do in season 11.
Yeah, they want to do it. I know some of them want to do it.
So we'll move. Now that we've discussed that, we'll move on to Spark versus Lilac. Spark the Electric Jester versus Freedom Planet, and
It sure is Sonic clones,
yes,
and yet still better
I
than Shantae versus Lilac.
yeah, the connection there is just like what they're both half something beings, and it's like
Purple,
eh,
purple hybrids that attack with their hair.
yeah. Whereas this one, at the very least, has more going for it, and I very much enjoy the idea. I think it's good.
Yeah.
We'll leave that at A, and then we will move on to a matchup that Sanchez. I imagine you both created this and have been the main push for it. Cuphead versus Dynamite Heavy.
Sanchez, feel free to unmute and explain
Yeah,
this.
if there's any, yeah, we'll explain that Sanchez's mic has a bit of a thing going on with his fan, but it's 110 degrees Fahrenheit where he is right now, so he needs the fan to stay cool and not melt. So, yeah, unmute yourself for this section, and I will. Okay, that's annoying. Anyway, yeah, you can unmute yourself for this section so that you can gush about the matchup that you created. Apologies in
Okay,
advance for
I can
smiting,
finally
but
breathe.
yeah.
I can finally breathe. Y'all. I finally got out from got out from under the pillow. Y'all have been putting me under ever since the start of this stream. Thank you very much. I'm
What?
being held against
No.
I'm being held against my will here. Someone help me! But
All
my
right.
only escape is talking about this matchup. I've been behind this matchup for like pushing 5 years now. It's
I
been like I
wish,
think it was like in 2021. I
I
think it was like in
wish
2021.
that I could push my favorite matchup in the same way that you've been pushing this. The, I
I
think the
Cuphead versus
only other matchup, the only other level of push behind a matchup that I can compare your push to this is, well, I don't know if I'd compare it because the other matchup that comes to mind is UX pushing Nemesis versus Magician, but
oh yeah,
I don't think anyone has pushed a matchup harder than that man. I think
I think
that's another
I yeah
matchup that I think
me and UX
deserves to happen in Death Battle.
me and UX are pretty much like we respect each other for how much we push each other's matchups. I'm
I'd
actually
say
pretty much
I'd say
following his footsteps and how to do it.
he pushes harder, but you push second hardest from everything I've seen.
Exact exactly. Just like everything in life, I'm always the second.
And then we got Gilded here in third place for his push of Quote versus Ray.
Oh yeah, for Cuphead. Okay, so
Anyway,
Cuphead versus Dynamite Shetty.
explain it to
let
the
me
people
put on the
who have
screen.
no idea who Dynamite Heady is.
Dynamite Heady is a Sega Genesis game made by Treasure, the same people that made games like Wario Land and the such.
Oh,
Well, they created this game called Dynamite Heady back in the 1990s for the Sega Genesis, and it's one of the biggest inspirations for Cuphead for its gameplay. And if anyone can bother looking up Dynamite Heady, you can clearly see there are some similarities between Cuphead and Dynamite Heady. Dynamite Heady is
Yeah,
a head. It's Dynamite Heady is a head themed
yeah.
protagonist
Based on what I've
that
seen,
basically
it's
went
yeah.
yeah that basically goes through like a boss rush throughout the entire game and has to fight a devil themed opponent at the end.
Oh,
Basically,
wow. This yeah. No,
they're they're
that's
also
definitely
based
some clear
they're
inspiration.
also based off of old timey entertainment like Rubber Hose and puppet shows.
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn.
And
I remember seeing a gameplay of Dynamite Heady when we were gathering clips for the trailers.
Yeah.
From the gameplay, it just looked like an older Cuphead.
Yeah. Kind
And
of.
that, and also they have that little and also Dynamite Heady has that little thing on his head that looks like a feather, and that can also form into like
And it's
exclamation points and
similar
question
colors as
mark.
well from
Yeah,
the
similar
feather
color
Yeah,
to
texture.
Cuphead.
I never
Like
saw it
a
as a
lot of
feather. To me, it just looked like a boomerang was just attached to his head.
yeah, same
Whatever it
thing
is,
for
it's
me.
very similar to Cuphead's sure.
For Dynamite Heady versus Cuphead, I think the best way to go about it in an animation for Death Battle is what I'm working on. It's like I'm doing it in a rough draft for in Google Docs first, and then I'm gonna put it into the storyboard.
Yeah.
And after I'm done with the storyboard, I'm gonna put it into video format with sound effects and such to
Yeah.
release onto YouTube. But the best way to go about Cuphead versus Dynamite Heady is to basically just put them in this one big death obstacle course where they had to dodge and
Yeah,
jump
no, that
over
makes
things
sense.
flying their way,
Yeah, and you
and
can
then have
probably
like a mini
throw
boss fight in
in
the middle.
you probably throw in aspects from both series for them to have to deal with obstacle wise.
Yeah, an obstacle course, a death-defying obstacle course would be the best for both of them in this scenario because you can go crazy with an obstacle course. You can have cannonballs. You can have like goons running at them with weapons. You can
Yep.
how you kill. One of the climax for the fight is like this mini boss fight, and then when the boss explodes, they have to escape in their biplanes while shooting each other down.
It sounds very good.
It's
So
like one big fast-paced fight,
I'm just gonna go
and it
ahead
respects both
and
characters.
put it there because I don't think Gilden and I will. I think Gilden and I are both in agreement. It's just, yeah. I mean, you
Thank
definitely
you.
would put it up there, but yeah,
That's fine. That's fine. I'm fine with it with placement. I'm even fine with it in B tier or A tier. I don't. It's good as long as it gets at least some recognition. You know.
I honestly think it's Cuphead's best. People might like
Thank
Cuphead
you.
versus Bendy, but
Thank you.
we can probably discuss our opinions on that matchup a bit more when we get to it. But this is
Hmm.
absolutely Cuphead's best and my favorite for him. No questions asked.
Exactly. And not like. And let me tell you something. Dynamite Heady is an underrated game, and I think more people should like at least acknowledge it because like the graphics for the time for Dynamite Heady, it was really good for the Genesis. It really
Mm.
pushed the boundaries of what it can actually do. Some of the section looks straight out like 3D.
Honestly, it's
If you
probably
saw some of the
worth.
boss battles.
It would probably be worth Sega looking at getting a remaster of it and having the Cuphead team make it.
Yeah, like they use actual puppets for the game with sets and
If
such. That
anybody
would be
could make
cool.
that work properly, I have faith that it would be the Cuphead team.
Yeah, Studio MDHR can definitely make a heady remake with the actual puppets and such. I can see that.
Yeah. Right.
Anyways, now back to me suffocating to near death. So
Okay.
yeah, someone help me. SOS.
Oh, back in
Guys,
there.
help me. Nuke, help me. Guys, help me. Nuke is
Get in
trying
there.
to fucking kill me.
Get in there. Bitch.
Anyway, yeah. Just to reiterate, in case anybody skipped to this part to avoid the mic issues, Cuphead versus Heady is a very good. Is Cuphead's best. You should everybody that's got any interest in Cuphead matchups should look in to Dynamite Heady because Clear Inspiration, it's a very underrated and good game, and just it's a peak matchup. Just perfect. I want to throw up that Homelander gif of him just saying like it was perfect. But yeah, moving on, we've got our second SCP matchup of the tournament, which over the entire tournament, I am honestly surprised at how much the number 7 cropped up for this thing. In Zalgo versus Scarlet King.
Oh my God, Zago! I can feel him coming.
I am still, again, in shock at how much the number 7 appeared up for this thing. It's...
No, yeah, that was everything was pointing towards it winning, and then the number 7 betrayed it.
And it's like, wow. Still, also, the fact that we had 2 SCP matchups in the finale.
Yeah, I thought that would be boring. If you remember me saying that in the Insights episode, the first one.
I don't. It's been a while since we talked about those. But
I used to think it would be boring, but like it was so interesting to see it go back and forth
yeah, it was
until the end.
Yeah, it really was. God. As far as quality, I want to put it up here. But it's got the problem of how in the fuck does it work as a fight? Though, the fact that that is the only problem I see with it means I'm going to leave it there unless either of you two disagree. The other Scarlet King matchup I think
This
that gets
maybe
brought up is... I think there's a Marvel character that he goes up against.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound probably stupid
Okay.
for this, but I feel like you could use the fanon design for Zalgo, and then just do something similar to Galactus versus Unicron.
Yeah, probably. I'd be fine with that. I don't know.
Considering how Scarlet King may as well be the strongest character in fiction.
Yeah, SCP gets pretty fucking crazy.
I mean, he gets pit against Superman,
Yeah, and when you get put up against
and I
Superman
think he's usually.
with some action, if you get put against
And you know what
Superman
the thing is?
and there's
The thing
actually a debate, you're fucking cracked.
no. You know what the craziest part is? He's usually agreed upon to win.
Really? God damn.
From what I've seen.
God damn. That's crazy.
I don't know for sure, but from what I've seen, he's usually agreed upon to win.
Oof,
I
crazy.
could be wrong though, but the fact is debatable at all.
Yeah, no, the fact that it's debatable at all is crazy because of how high we know Superman gets.
Sanchez says Superman actually wins, but it's close.
Yeah, see? You guys are
The
debating
fact
it
you
now.
can say that, the fact you can say that at all,
Yeah,
shows how ridiculous this guy is.
yeah. Right. Alright, moving on again to try and get through these quickly. We have a matchup that you have been pushing really hard, that we mentioned earlier. Reg from Cave Story. No, wait. No, Reg from Made in Abyss.
Made in Abyss.
Okay, I messed this up. I'm just going to change this quickly. I don't know how I managed to mess that up, but I did. Anyway, Reg from Made in Abyss versus Quote from Cave Story.
Alright, I'm gonna do something different here. Instead of what Sanchez did, I'm gonna let you guys read the connections and I'll let you ask me questions about it. Like, I guess a mini Q&A, I guess.
Alright. I mean, I don't really have any questions because I don't really know the characters, so I can kind of just trust in you that this is all legit.
I mean, you saw my...
Oh, well, Sanchez is saying it's legit.
It is legit. I'm just gonna give you a word of advice. Don't watch Made in Abyss.
Oh yeah, no, that I know that series it's kind of fucked up.
It can get gory, but that's not even the worst part.
Makes me wonder if, by some possible chance, there's a Made in Abyss versus Madoka Magica matchup. Fucked up
Oh, that's
anime.
not even the worst part I'm talking
Cutesy
about. But
anime that is actually fucked up. Right. So I'm just gonna shove
be
this
hard
right
for
up
yourself to
here,
stick together.
and
I'm just gonna say, should I say how close it is?
I believe you had me run some calcs for it, which made it seem like one of them was just absurdly faster, or like much
Oh,
faster
you
to the
didn't even
point where it
count that.
becomes.
You didn't do that calc, but you were wanting to do a speed calc for quote.
Was it the laser thing?
It was the later thing, yeah.
No, I feel like I did it more as a assumption based calc rather than any hard numbers because
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
weird.
That's what you did.
But yeah. Anyway,
But
S tier.
yeah, it's
I
so
know.
close that it's so close that you can make a solid case for either winning.
Right. So then we'll move on to the second Hat in Time matchup. Blinks from a fairly obscure game, Blinks the Time Sweeper, versus Hat Kid from the titular Hat in Time.
I just want to say, you said fairly obscure. Blinks is the mascot for the things that aged poorly Twitter account.
Wait, what? What do you mean aged poorly? How did it age poorly?
There was an ad in a magazine with Blinks, and it was like, "Move over, Mario. Blinks is here."
To be fair, I imagine most platformers would use that as a selling point back then.
Yeah, but he's the most egregious
In
case of it because
in the
nobody else.
in the same way that
A lot of
shooters
people.
try to advertise themselves as the Halo killer or the COD killer, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's the most egregious case because that's a lot of people's first exposure to Blinks.
Wow. Yeah.
The fact that that ad aged
Anyway,
poorly.
I'm kind of leaning A or S. I don't really know enough about it. What do you guys want to put it?
I've seen people trash on it, but honestly, I say it's an S for me.
Sanchez?
Oh my god, oh my god, the fact that Blinks aged poorly is part of the contrast. Blinks is a failed AAA mascot from the early 2000s.
That gave us a successful indie mascot in the 2010s. Yeah, alright. I'll throw it in S tier because both of you are agreed on it. And I'm kind of debating which one because it just seems good. Alright. So, from a matchup
You
that
want
not
to
a lot of people know
before we
about,
move
which
on?
is great, to a matchup that a lot of people know about that we don't think is great. Sam just wants to talk to the next matchup. Given that he had a lot to say about Cuphead versus Hetty and he made it, yeah, I'll throw another disclaimer up with a timestamp to skip if you don't want to deal with his mic issues. But yeah, unmute yourself and talk about Cuphead versus Bendigo versus Sanchez.
Okay, they finally released me from the pillow.
Again.
Okay,
You made this joke.
yeah. Cuphead versus Bendy is like it's a legacy matchup, right? But my main problem with Cuphead versus Bendy is that Cartoon Bendy isn't the Ink Demon, and the Ink Demon isn't Cartoon Bendy. And if you use Cartoon Bendy, like exactly are you using? He barely has like much of anything that he actually uses to fight against someone.
Yeah,
And for the
plus,
Ink Demon, like, what do you want another
He gets a
horror
moon
guy?
feet.
yeah. So,
To me,
I'm leaning putting it down here. If not just
Put it at the bottom.
one of these two.
Put it
That's.
in. Put
I
it
just
in the
want to point
fabled
out.
Z tier.
Can I point out something?
The only positive thing about this matchup that I can think of
DBA.
is that DBX was absolute fire. Best,
The DBX
one of
was
the
the
best I've
DBX would
ever
have been
seen.
cooler. Not gonna lie, the DBX would have been cooler if Cuphead won. So, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You. Here's something I want to say.
Go on.
Uh, in addition to this being just a legacy matchup with nothing else supporting it, it's a complete stomp. Like no matter what version of Bendy you use, Cuphead just stops so hard
This is probably going to be
that
one that a lot of people are going to call us on and be like, what the f are you guys thinking? What drugs are you on? And it's like,
The,
it's not
the
a good
problem is
idea,
that
people.
okay. The problem
Cuphead
about
stops so
people
hard it
defend.
looks like SpongeBob versus Aquaman. It looks like that episode.
Wow.
Okay, I think the
And,
problem with Bendy, with people thinking Bendy wins because something about infinite power or universal Bendy is that it's not really consistent, and we've been seeing that he can be affected by things much lower than universal, like electricity or fire.
Damn.
Fire definitely, because
oh,
ink is conductive.
guess what Cuphead has?
Fire and electricity. He can also wash away the ink demon, which is a canon theme that can happen because ink creatures can be washed away.
Damn. Well,
And Cuphead can just, from my understanding, he can just leave and then just erase them from existence.
Yeah, like in the Dark Horse comic. For people who don't know, Cuphead does have a comic series from Dark Horse, and in an issue, he practically jumped out into the fourth wall, grabbed his own art utensils from his pants, and started drawing and started erasing things. So yeah, Bendy's pretty much fucked either way.
damn. Right then.
B-
So,
Bendy doesn't even get the moral victory here.
bottom of the list, and we'll move on to
And,
the next
and if anyone disagrees with
ones.
us,
You can suck it.
uh,
No, you are perfectly free
Yeah,
to make your
we are
arguments
perfectly
in the
fine liking this
comments.
matchup. This is just a reminder, people. This is just our opinion. You can like Cuphead versus Bendy
Yeah,
if you
like
want.
like we said,
Just our opinion.
that DBX showed
Was
that
cool.
as an animation, this is fire.
but here's the thing: if you disagree with us, you can suck my ink demon.
All right. Let's move on. Sanchez,
Uh,
let's get this pillow back on you.
hey, cool it. I just got here. I need a drink. Someone give me a.
Well, I guess it would be a clear ink demon.
All right. Uh Third from last, we've got Geo from Gwayne Saga versus Gilded Guy from, I've got Hyun's
Yeah.
Dojo here. I don't know if there's a specific series on the channel that he's from, but yeah. Everything I've seen, this
Wait, I'm in
was
this.
this one.
Wait, when did I get in this?
Oh, every time I see this thing, I'm like, when's he gonna make the joke? Oh, you have to make a thumbnail now with you over Gilded Guy. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
All
You
right.
want to know what's funny though? That the confusion actually did happen one time on Twitter.
Did it really?
Yeah, a while ago.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Gilded Guy is in Fortnite.
Yes,
Like, that's
I think
crazy
that was
to
the
me.
first. That was like the first indie game in Fortnite, right? Or
I
not indie games, indie thing.
I think so.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me. Yeah, that actually reminds me. What is the first crossover in Fortnite? What was the first one? I can't remember.
Let me look this up.
Yeah, look that up. In the
What was
meantime,
the first?
I think I will throw this into S tier unless you guys want to have any if you guys disagree. But I think it just looks amazing.
Okay, I found it.
So what was the first?
The first ever collab with Fortnite was Star Wars.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But
yeah, I think this is the. I think this is an
it
S
is
tier.
peak.
And then we'll go from one S tier matchup to another one. I would like to argue in Giovanni Potage versus Papyrus. Giovanni from Epitheta Raised versus Undertale, and I think.
Let me fix one part of the connections here for you.
All right.
There you go.
Right. Yeah, because Frisk's gender is a.
They're non-binary.
Yeah.
It's
I
okay
mean,
though. People it happens all the time.
yeah, the design of Frisk seems to lean towards a
It looks
feminine
like
thing for
Dora.
most people, but yeah, no,
It looks like Dora.
yeah.
And also, we don't talk about female first. We don't talk about that.
All right,
I'm traumatized by the Undertale fandom.
I'm gonna push it up there unless you guys want to counter with anything.
There's no argument. This is the best Papyrus matchup.
The only other Papyrus matchup that I am at all interested in is Power from Chainsaw Man, because I just think that's a
I remember.
funny thing.
I remember years ago
I don't
when I
think
was
it's
still in
better,
like
but I
school.
think it's funny.
I remember years ago when I was still in school. I remember one Papyrus matchup. I did a Papyrus tier list years ago, and I remember one specific matchup. It is what was his name? DJ Grooves from A Hat in Time.
I have no idea anything about that character.
It's nothing compared to Papyrus versus Giovanni, but
It's also
I can kind of see it.
Giovanni vs. Papyrus is very debatable last time I checked.
Yeah.
Alright, we shall move on from that then to our last, finally, almost an hour after we started, more than an hour after we started, closing in on 2 hours.
Almost two.
It makes sense that this is our longest one, though.
And I have nothing to say on this one.
We've got V1 from Ultra Kill versus Neon White. I think it's honestly just perfect. I mean, it's a fairly simple connection-wise, but given who these two are, it just makes so much sense.
I'm
Perfectly
just
willing
gonna
to
agree.
put it up in peak. Unless either of Sanchez, you want to say anything about the matchups we put in peak so far? Because I think these three just all work in peak. Yeah, I think we're all agreed. Right.
All right.
That's the last one on the list. That's our tier list. If anybody has any disagreements, throw them in the comments.
Actually, don't throw them in the comments. Keep them to yourself. Your opinion doesn't matter.
Right. I know.
Throw up the throw up the throw up that shitty little drawing in the quote versus Rex section.
Oh yes, Gilded showed threw me a drawing which is currently up on screen, and I don't know what to say about it. But it should go some amount towards showing you how dedicated this man is towards this matchup.
The matchup has gone insane. We occasionally ship them now.
Yeah. Right. We're at the end, and over the last
Wait,
few
we got
episodes,
an announcement.
Yeah, over the last few episodes, we've been hinting, and across the various channels that we talk about this, we've been hinting that something is in the works. I don't know how many people picked up on it.
Can I say it?
But we're planning something.
Can I say it?
Gilded, take it away.
Without Death Battle has been gone for about 6 months at this point. Yes, 6 months. Get the Venom memes out. Well, we thought of doing something for the day it possibly returns, if not
Yes.
next year.
In the
And
interest
it's
of
going to be
when it returns, we feel that it would be a good
a
idea
tournament
to sort of
double the
build up
size.
hype. So we, like Gilda said, we want to run another tournament. And
Double the size of this one.
double the size.
64.
And the currently planned name is, Gilded, if you would,
The Tournament of Runback Champions.
which some of you may be aware of a Google form I threw out several weeks ago asking about who you think certain characters should go up against as a runback. When I first pushed it, it lacked an option for putting in others, but it has that now. It will be in the description. Even if you've already filled it in, you can go back and change your answer if you want to. Or hell, share it around to people that you don't think have seen it yet. I know I put it on the official server. I think I put it on the Death Battle matchup subreddit. If by some chance we can get it on the main Death Battle subreddit, that would be great, but I know they don't like discussion of potential matchups over there, which is understandable. But the more feedback we get, the more accurate we can make our choices for the 64 matchups we put in. And that's not enough for all of the characters to get a run back on there, but I can guarantee a few matchups here and now that will be on that tournament. All right.
That's the one that won't be.
There is only one matchup currently that will not be on there, and that is
we're banning the previous winner.
Doomsday versus 682 is not going to be in that tournament, purely for the reason that it won, like Gilded said, because I'm confident that everybody wants that to be Doomsday's return. I mean, come on.
We don't want to risk it winning again.
However, a similar tier of matchup in terms of how much it's wanted is going to be in there. Kratos versus Asura. Probably using a thumbnail that I made myself, which I think is really good. But, yeah. That one absolutely is in there. No questions asked. We knew from the moment we started theorizing this potential tournament that had to be in there. At what week? I don't know. But, yeah. That one's in there. I think
We're going to have 32 weeks.
I think over the rest of the year, I'm going to work on putting it together. If anybody wants to help make it, DM me and we'll look. I'll think about expanding the group. We got a few people so far, but if anybody is really interested in helping to hype up, I guess, Death Battle's return, because I'm hopeful. So it's either we have the tournament as a Death Battle return hype builder, or in the hopefully unlikely event that they aren't able to come back. With how I still want to make sure that whatever work we do on it doesn't go to waste, we will most likely then run it as a tribute to the series. And maybe
I'm
lessen
just
the
gonna say.
restrictions a bit.
I'm just going to say, even though it's been 6 months, it ending is so unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, business decisions like this, they take time to figure out, and then announced.
I think the
You know,
main reason people think it's gonna end is because of how non-disclosure they've been.
but who knows? Maybe between now and the release of this video, they'll have announced that they return. If that's somehow the case, I will put a big disclaimer being like, we're fine, we're good, they're coming back, type thing, and yeah, and we'll have started work on this already by that
You know
point.
what would be the funniest? You know what would be the funniest piece of timing?
What?
You remember how we upload that final TIC video,
And then the
and
Death
then they
Battle
announced they
cast
were
were
going to do a
announced.
Death Battlecast?
If
Imagine once we upload this, and then they announce their return.
if I upload this and the return gets announced after I've uploaded it, such that I cannot change or add the disclaimer about it having returned, I will probably put it in the comments or the description. Maybe I'll make it the pinned comment. I don't know. But that's pretty unlikely, but it would be awesome, honestly, if it did. It would be our own
It would be
mini,
so cool.
it would be like our own mini Death Battle curse. But a positive one. Right.
The Death Battle Saint?
Blessing?
Blessing. Yeah, blessing.
Alright.
The Death Battle Prophet. But
Anyway.
that has been Indie Insights.
Yeah, there's not going to be any more. We'll probably do a similar sort of
we out of Indie.
similar kind of thing to this on the run back tournament when that's said and done with, and we might try and make it a bit better, but I don't know, that'll be a decision to be made later on down the line.
The first YouTube podcast to get to get run back alien videos.
Anyway, for everyone that's joined us over the tournament and these Indie Insight videos, I want to thank you personally for being there and watching, and hopefully any of these matchups that we've discussed will become a full, proper episode in the future. Some more than others, but yeah. Gilded, you want to say anything?
Thanks for listening to my dumbass.
And Sanchez, you want to unmute and say your bit?
Okay, I'm out.
Pillows off for the final time.
Okay, this has been Indie Insights, and this, and yeah, sorry, my speech has been slurred because I've been under a freaking pillow this entire time. So
I
yeah,
got one last thing to say. I got one last thing to say.
Yeah.
Before we sign off.
Damn. So this has been Indie Insights, and it's been a pleasure seeing you, and we are done.